Went out there and watched a little ball practice, if you can call it that. Guys were running around. You know, I like to go out to these rookie men. David Hillman, by the way, saw me today, and he goes, "This is the days that I miss you over at DallasCowboys.com because I can make a walk-through helmet practice seem like they were getting ready for the Super Bowl." I had that ability. But I'll tell you what these practices do, guys, for me. You get to see physically how the players look because a lot of these guys I've seen on film. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, man, that's a long guy on film. And then you look at him, you're like, aha. Then they walk by you when they're on the way to the locker room, and you're like, oh,
sure.
So you're just objectifying them all, right?
Yeah,
like who's got the best calves? I'd like to run through this a little bit.
That's the sick thing that scouts do. You know, we sit there and look. You know, we look at these guys.
Eric loves the calves, but last year I remember you were calling Kelvin Joseph out, not being quite in shape.
He wasn't at all, and I think it affected the way his. I think you have to get off to a good start on these rookie mini camps and stuff like that. I really do. I mean, I know you're nervous as all get out, about it, and you really probably haven't trained. There were some guys that probably haven't trained since their workout days.
Had a couple of huffing and puffing out there today.
No, I mean, back in the day, guys like Des Bryant would be throwing up and stuff like that. I mean, those practices were pretty intense, and these are a little bit more of some individual and then drills, like some teamwork against each other. And that's the part where you can kind of get something out of it, because I was looking, I was like wanting to see what was going on at the offensive line spot. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see with Tyler Smith, okay, where are they playing him? If you get the sheet, the roster from the Cowboys, they list him as an offensive tackle. Well, he was a starter at left guard. And then
you don't say.
And then Matt Letzko was playing the left tackle. But I will say this about Tyler Smith. Physically, he is a good-looking player. I mean, when you look at him just in jersey shorts and all, I could see, like 324 pounds, and you could see it to the point where you're like going, man, this dude is not sloppy looking at all.
First guy off the bus. Yeah. Kind of deal. Intimidate the opposing team.
But I'll tell you what, and what was fun today is this John Ridgeway, this defensive tackle from Arkansas, is another big, burly guy. They got into it a little bit today.
Good.
They got into it like to the point where I was like, wait a minute, this is just kind of like rookies and helmets and T-shirts kind of a thing.
They're trying to make an impression, though.
I think they were.
Yeah.
I think, what my early indication of people telling me in the Cowboys, I ran into a couple of guys on the way out and visit. They're like, this Ridgeway kid's nuts. I mean, nuts in a good way.
He's got a screw loose. You can tell.
Like he's like a football nuts guy. Not like he's going to go postal on anybody or anything like that. But he's a little bit out there.
Good.
And he's a little bit of like challenging people and stuff. And him and Tyler Smith got into it a little bit. And I will say this, Tyler Smith, like Ridgeway's coming off the ball, good clip. He's coming. I mean, like some pop. Smith's like, not today. Now, I don't know. I've never worked against you, sir. I'm sorry. You're my teammate. But they had a good little battle with two really, really strong guys. And I was impressed by Smith's ability just to sit down. And Ridgeway doesn't have a lot of pass rush technique. He's going to try and bully you and just blow through you and that kind of thing. But like Smith's like, fine. If you want to try and run over me, go ahead. And he just sat down on him a couple of different times. And then there were a couple of times like in the run game where the ball was going to the outside and he was able to kind of get him, hold him in place, turn him a little bit. So I was impressed by that just for the fact that the two rookies, two of these guys, and I think Ridgeway is going to be really, really good for this team as that one technique nose tackle guy. But I wasn't really sure about Smith, and I know it's just first, but how he would look inside like that because he plays at Tulsa. I was watching him play tackle. Man, he looks super comfortable in there just in that stance and stuff like that and coming off the ball. Again, I know it's one practice, T-shirts and shorts, but there was some good little competes between those two. Like it wasn't like you're not going to get the best. It's like when one came off the ball, it's like, oh, that's how we're going to play today. So it was a good little competition inside.
I like that.
That's fun. That gets me excited.
Are there defensive tackles once we get to Oxnard that you can really evaluate him against, or are we going to have to wait until the NFL season starts to know how he's going to handle the better ones?
Yeah, well, let's see how it goes with your Osas and guys like that. The quicker type of guys.
And Neville Gallimore.
The quicker. I'm interested to see, because that's the thing that when you get called for holding and your hands and problems like that, it's quick. Power doesn't give him problems.
That's great.
It's quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm interested to see what quick does to him with the veterans. Okay. Also, Sam Williams. He's going by D. Williams now, right? I mean, they have it on the sheet as Sam.
Interchange.
Yeah, D. Williams. Okay. D. Williams playing as a right end. Right defensive end.
Weak side?
So that's on the opposite of what Tank would be.
Sure.
So he's on that right side. He's the old Randy Gregory position. That's what he's playing over there. I'll tell you what, man, that son of a gun's not little. That son of a gun's got some get off, though. That first couple of steps, he was able to get off the ball pretty well and was disruptive on a couple of different plays. Matter of fact, the plays I saw, and I went back and saw on Twitter, Mike McCarthy made mention of it. He said, man, there were a couple of plays where Williams won clean. I know what plays he's talking about. He was able to come off the ball, get around the corner, get up the field. This guy's super long. I mean, extend on the tackle and then, get around the tackle long. And
give me an overreaction. Is he a Pro Bowler? Is he an all-rookie selection?
I think that, to me,
as good as Randall?
I think he's not as fast as Randy Gregory. He's not that slippery type of guy. I think where he's going to be I think he's going to be more like Tank in the way he plays the run and rushes the pass.
I agree.
That's where I see him. I see it's not. Randy was get thin, get narrow, get up the field. That kind of. This guy looks a little longer, and he looks a little thicker, and he looks a little heavier. But I could see him, because the one thing Tank can do, as we've seen, is play the run on that left side. I think you don't give up anything with this guy playing on the right side, playing against the run.
That's good.
But I don't think he's got the explosiveness, though, of what you have with Randy.
Man, that's crazy, because his 10-yard split or whatever it is for the 40 was better than a lot of the wide receivers in the draft. I thought he had some really good get off from an athletic standpoint, but 260 pounds, if he can set the edge the same way that Tank can, that brings huge value.
He does. I mean, I think he can be a good all-around edge. The question, though, Brian, and I wonder if you noticed, have you seen him add anything to his pass rush moves, add anything to his arsenal? Because he kind of seemed like a one-trick pony a little bit coming at Ole Miss.
That's something he's clearly going to have to work at, because the way he was able to get up the field was the run stuff.
Okay,
it wasn't the pass. But I think you got a guy that can kind of do both. Okay, I'm going to one more guy here if I could, and I've got other guys, but I'm running out of time. I'll maybe pick it back up later. This Devin Harper.
Yeah, we're going to do more of it at 6 if you want.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'll talk about some more guys then too. Devin Harper, this linebacker they got from Oklahoma State that was drafted in the 6th round. Okay, this kid's 6 foot. He's 234 pounds. I tell you what, I was super impressed. I was just looking for movement. I'm looking for movement. I'm looking for read, react, get downhill, try and make a play. This kid's got a little of that to him, just watching him move. Just watch when you see the ball snapped and the ball's going to the outside, or they tried to run the waggle with the flow go one way and then the ball come back the other.
Sure.
Nah, this kid wasn't fooled on that. He found it, turned over, looked over his left shoulder, found the guy crossing, and was with the tight end coming across. So the movement, the understanding. I mean, I didn't know a whole hell of a lot about this kid. Watching him in Oklahoma, so I'm like, it looks like a good player. I didn't know, 6th round pick, maybe some traits. This guy's got I think he's got some vision. I think he's got a lot of awareness, because early, he didn't look like he was fooled at all. And then the ball, like I said, going to the outside, he was able to fill. I was watching him in the drills and stuff, because I always worry about linebackers that can't catch. Mm-hmm. Don't give me the guy that drops and then the ball hits him and it goes up in the air. I don't want that guy. This guy's got some decent ball skills. And balls thrown poorly, he's making a catch. So, and that's in drills. It's not in a team setting or anything like that. Sometimes you can see those drills, those guys fight the ball. I don't think this guy fought the
It's
ball.
interesting you pointed him out. I was wondering if our guy Aaron Hansford would actually outperform him.
Hansford, I tell you what, though, I watched him a little bit, didn't notice him as much, though, as what I saw with Harper.